Good evening, Random Encounter Guild, and welcome to the exciting finale of the Blade 68 playtest. If you are wondering where this is going, so are we. So please add anything that you know in the chat, because boy, do we need help. Before we get started, I would just like to thank Evil Hat Production and Jonathan Harper for putting together and making this outstanding thing happen. I'm really excited to see the next steps of Blade 68. I'd love to revisit it when the final version is out, and I hope everybody that was involved in this had as much fun as we all did as well. So hats off to you guys. You did something really, really cool, especially for a beta. It is very impressive. I was looking at the book one last time today, and there's entire sections I still haven't even gotten into, which is really exciting. So before we kind of jump into it tonight, the trailer for James Gunn's Superman dropped today. One of the last trailers or something like that. Doesn't matter if you've seen it or not, but question for a group of nerds. Is Superman an interesting character? Or is Superman a lame Boy Scout that they should stop telling stories about?
Superman gives you the opportunity to tell interesting stories about the other people around him. You can have fun villains and fun NPCs and fun problems when you have the biggest Mary Sue in the world. Superman himself is not interesting.
Interesting. That's a take.
I've always been a Batman guy, still am, but seeing the end of Kill Bill Volume 2 made me realize the point of Superman.
Yeah.
It's not the big blue Boy Scout, it's the alien who, this is how he sees us. And I remember sitting in the theater just like awestruck at Quentin Tarantino's genius that came out of a speaker that I was sitting in a room with, and that's always been like a real thing that stuck with me. But I'm still a Batman guy.
Did you know that the original written ending for that was supposed to be the bride and Bill in a tuxedo and a dress on the beach having a sword fight in the moonlight? And then that was kind of a last minute, the Superman monologue got added. What a cool, like, risky change.
No, I've never heard that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, a Batman fan, but appreciate that. What do other people think?
I'm in the same camp that I prefer Batman as character. It's hard to get a decent nemesis for someone that's indestructible and all-powerful. I have that problem with whether it's a god or whether it's a superhero, or if you have a protagonist or an antagonist that's so shifted in one direction that it's hard to balance and make, a good enemy or a good counterpoint to him. I find it more difficult and more interesting, or less interesting of a character.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think the character's been around for so damn long, right? Like, if you're given the Superman reigns, like what do you write that hasn't been done in some way before, right? So
and it's almost always a reboot, which is like, we've heard the story, we all know the story. Like let's do something a little different,
Yeah. If I have to see Krypton blow up again, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I liked with the new Spider-Man movies. They were just like, Ben's dead. Who cares, right? Like, we get it. Like, move past it. We don't need to see that guy. Or even the same thing. If I see Bruce Wayne's parents get shot again, come on. Like, they're all dead in our consciousness.
I think for a while there, they were trying to establish in movie terms what like the canon was from comic books, but at this point, even movie people know.
Did we lose
Yeah.
it?
No, still got Jenna. Yeah, I think so as well. I think that, like, our collective zeitgeist of knowledge has sort of based those things as well, right? Like, when did the Donner Superman movie come out? Was that 74? Was that 77?
No.
It's like late 70s.
It was later than that. It
Was
was
it late
after
70s?
It was after Star Wars.
Okay. Well, we'll say as a loose thing, we've been watching Superman fly around since 1980-ish at this point. Like that's generations at this point who've sort of adopted it. Justin, where do you land on the blue boy and the Boy Scout blue tights?
Retire him.
Just retire him? Yeah.
My take is, I think that as a hero, he's kind of boring, and I think that he could do better in the comics as a martyr than he could as a hero.
Yeah.
I want to say they did that in 52, and it worked.
And there's the whole Injustice storyline. If you've ever, like, that started as a video game, but it was so popular they turned it into a line in the comimes. But
Well, and there's always stuff like Red Sun too. Like, there's other ways to flip it.
all of the Elseworlds takes are all the Elseworlds books are all great, but
Yeah.
but turning him into a violent dictator, if you don't know, like, the Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane. He kills Lois Lane himself, and it turns him like, I mean, he just takes over the entire world. And Batman, like, is running a revolution trying to stop him. Like, that all the heroes are split, and it's just a really interesting take. But yeah, the what she's talking about, Red Sun, is a story where he landed in Russia instead of Kansas
Under the communist regime.
and it was a really good book.
It's a cool idea. Did anybody see the movie Brightburn that came out like 6 or 7 years ago?
I don't think so.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Brightburn basically imagines the, mom, pa, and the alien lands in Kansas, but like everything's not all right with this kid. And in a normal instance, this kid would be like, burning insects and torturing cats, but it can throw a barn to the moon now. And like, how do you deal with that as the parents? It's kind of a schlocky horror movie, but it's a really fun exploration of the character. Scott, you were talking about how you kind of saw Superman through a new lens when you were watching Kill Bill. I saw Superman through a new lens when I was watching Ted Lasso. I was like, just put a cape on that dude. Like, I want to see that, like, irritatingly, almost toxically optimistic. It's just kind of an interesting idea. But yeah, I'm in the form. I think he's an interesting character in short bursts. But to just have the character go on and on and on and on and on, like, what do you do? Like, there's only so much emotional trauma.
The problem is, comics fans are. I used to work in a comic shop. I collected for years. I know comics fans. They complain about Superman, and he's been around since 52 or whatever, blah blah blah. But if they alter him in any way,
they get upset.
They lose their minds. Like, somebody is going to get crucified.
Yeah.
And so their hands are tied. If they kill him, eventually everybody gets mad and they have to bring him back, which they've done. If they kill Batman, everybody gets mad and they have to bring him back, which they've done. It's just the way of the world. I mean, they've really done a lot in the recent years with his son. His son is kind of taking over now, along with Batman's son. They seem to be kind of slowly transitioning into these two new characters away from Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. So we'll see.
Well, I hope that they really start leaning more into that cellophane S that he had in Superman 2, the Richard Donner one that he would throw at people. I think that's
Speaking of transitions.
Who wants to hear this intro one more time before we kick into it?
It's a classic.
I got a hand. I thought I was going to be the only yes vote. Okay, well then let's jump into it.
Love it. Let's bring it.
One more time for the finale. Once a shattered world dreamed of reaching the stars. Then came the Unity Wars. Today, Duskfall is a city of neon and secrets, satellites and spies. That blue bubble hums, keeping out the ghosts of the past, but inside, grifters, gangsters, and revolutionaries fight for a future they might never see. The Cold War burns hot in boardrooms and back alleys where life is cheap and secrets are priceless. The sky may turn blue for a few fleeting hours every day, but in this city of sin, the only thing that truly shines are the blades in the dark. We open on that city of Duskfall. We're outside of it. We can see the bubble humming and pulsing. We see the skyscrapers of the 1960s Art Deco inspired New York, Chicago, Detroit, Venice analog sitting there. Inside, it's a hub of commerce and ideas and free speech and Sunshine Number 9 and occasional people who murder reporters. And it's a place that's kind of thriving right now. The Cold War is kind of humming under the surface, but for the people on the day-to-day, it's doing okay. Our camera zooms up and up and up and up and up, and we see the clouds, and outside of the sort of that blue bubble, we just see this land of scorched darkness. It extends as far as we can see, and the sort of the area around Duskfall is called the Shattered Isles, and that's truly what it is. When you have a bird's eye view like this, you can see what happened 1,000 years ago, that cataclysm. The world has been wounded forever, and we just see these little pockets of light spread about, sort of the last remnants of civilization and life, and in the almost infinite wasteland of barren ghostlands and death and demons and spirits. And way off to the west, we see a light not as bright as Duskfall. And our camera kind of goes up and it starts swooping in. And we go further and further and further, and we're flying over the hills of Scoveland. And we're going across, and we see some remote settlements and some burnt out towns. And we finally land in the capital of the United Scove Covenant. We move right into the middle of the city to a building. It's called the Red Spire. The Red Spire is the headquarters of Scoveland Intelligence Agency. And we kind of end up on a window that's overlooking out over the darkness. And we sort of move inside, and there's two people inside of this sort of office in the Red Tower. One of them you might recognize from the newspapers is a guy named Bolton. He's the head of the Scove Intelligence, sitting there in the Red Spire. And he's speaking with another Scove Intelligence agent. And Bolton says he's holding up this sort of beautiful, shimmering fabric that you've seen before. And he goes, the fabric was finer than we imagined. And the agent says, yeah, the microfilm is precise, decades ahead of what we assumed. The orbital network alone, if it's accurate, would render all of our westerns accurate. Shadows will reclaim it all. Bien. We owe your agent in Duskfall accommodation, the DIA. Do they know that we ended up with the real dress and they with the fake one? And the agent said, celebrating their victory for us. Bolton said, and the agent says, and the committee? You cannot possibly expect to cause so much violence with that lease. And he goes, nah, they'll read the reports when it's done. They prefer results over explanations. And she says, and the people of Duskfall, our agent? And Bolton says, let them dance under the artificial skies. Let them bathe in their blue daylight. And he turns towards the window one more time, looking out over that eternal darkness. The sun is theirs. Let them burn underneath it. And we get back to Duskfall. As a reminder, you finished off your heist, which I think took about an hour in real time, and I think it took us about 6 weeks to get through. Skinner, the killer, is dead. Fellow of Dicer is dead. Belladonna acquired the weapon that the killer was using. It is called Nata. The weapon Nata is somehow connected with some monstrous being, and it has made some sort of connection with Belladonna. The party line has been that the Leviathans have been dead for decades, but we don't know if that's true. And this thing is whispering. Now, I think it's been a few weeks since your last score, and things have settled down a little bit. And things seem okay for you all right now. And I just kind of want to jump into some of the stuff that we're going to be doing, take care of a little bit of bookkeeping, and then we're going to get into it. So if somebody wouldn't mind opening up our crew sheet, I want to say that kind of right off the bat, without getting into it too much, there was a bounty on the head of Skinner, and that came from one of our death wardens. You are paid out. That is 6 coin right into you. Don't need to worry about spending it right now, but that money is yours. No messing around, no goofing or anything like that. Next, let's talk a little bit about,
We had 2 called shots. One of them
really?
was that I was going to take that thing and give it to our weird collector friend, and the other was that we were going to kill Fellows.
Okay, well, that's 1 coin for Fellows. So let's add that on there. And then that's a really interesting question. Do you give the dagger to the collector?
I think she was intending to at first.
Okay.
But no.
Okay, we're in the Black Diamond right now, which is your lounge, which is your headquarters. There's a stack to be had in handing over this to your collector friend. Let's set a scene there right now. Belladonna is sort of saying, I don't really think that we should hand this over. What does everybody feel about this?
It's a payday. Why wouldn't we get paid?
By the way, failing a called shot subtracts the same amount from the payout as a penalty as you would get.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. And thanks for reminding me of the called shots. I completely forgot. Thank you.
Yeah, so y'all are sitting around the table, and I think that she, since she got this, has been doing the same sort of, like, it's either elaborately up in her hair as a hairpin, or she's wearing it decoratively as like some sort of like brooch. Like, it's always on her person, and her outfits have sort of slightly changed a little bit. Instead of being all black or that all black with the red, now there's like other silver elements to sort of match, and she's a little bit changing her appearance to like match with this dagger, but it is all still gothic maven looking, of course. And the blood red is thematic enough. So she's sitting at this table, and it's like in her hair, you can just see like the little hilt in this like pile beehive thing of hairspray and black hair.
If you love how it looks so much, we can get a replica made for you.
Darling, do I look like I want the fake? No, this is mine. If we want money, we can get it anywhere we want, but this is mine.
It's not about the money, it's about the job. We were hired to do a job. We agreed to do a job.
And we did the job. He's dead.
And we agreed to hand over the knife.
He's dead because of what that thing did to him.
Say that one more time, Scott.
He's dead because of what that thing did to him.
No, he's dead because we killed him. Did I kill him? I don't even remember now.
No, you did not.
Al killed him.
Al killed him, okay.
Yeah.
No, he's dead because we took a job. That's why he's dead. We agreed that if we could get this weapon back to our friend, that he would pay us. That wasn't even the original job. It wasn't even the original mark. It wasn't the original buyer. It wasn't anything. And I didn't know it would be this, and this is mine. I'll pay you for it, but I'm keeping it. Or you can try and take it from me, and I will pull it out of your cold, dead hands.
I'm not even concerned about the money. We've got plenty of money. Our vaults are... We're doing fine on that end, but you're going to hurt our rep.
Problem.
You're going to hurt our rep. People aren't going to hire
Darling,
us if
I
we
am
start
our
taking away the
reputation.
things that we say we're going to deliver for ourselves.
We said if. We said maybe. Look, if it's a problem, I will go talk to Bloom myself. You don't even need to worry
That's
about it.
what I was going to suggest. You're the one who made the deal with Bloom. If you're going to break the deal, you speak with Bloom.
Fine. I'm the one who makes all our deals. I sign and look over all our contracts. I'm the one that gets us all the extra money. I'm the one that won the race. I'm the one that wins the bets. I'm the one that makes it so you can cheat without getting caught. I'm the one that saves your ass from the cops. I'll just go this one other thing too. You didn't even get me a Mother's Day card. And yet here I am, cleaning up all your messes.
I'm sorry.
All right. Belladonna, do you actually plan on visiting Bloom and having this conversation with him?
I can totally visit Bloom. That's fine.
Okay. You want to visit Bloom? Does anyone want to come with you? Let's do that right now.
No, I'm good.
I don't care to see that.
Owl may follow her there just to make sure she goes, but
Yeah.
he won't like go in with her. If she actually goes in, then he might hang out to make sure she's safe, but he wouldn't like interfere with her business.
Okay. Well, let's set that up. Velvet, how do you get there? How are you getting around town?
Well, first of all, obviously in the Road Reaper, which is my convertible, my black and red convertible hearse with the license plate, "You're next." Obviously. She, as she goes to visit Bloom, is wearing a full latex, it's like what you would expect from like a pinstripe business suit, but instead of it being suit material, it's like black and white latex, and she's got long black shiny latex gloves and like thigh-high latex boots to match. And the dagger is like a belt, what's it called? Like almost like a belt buckle. Like it's decorative. It looks like an ornament jewelry.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's cool. So you enter in Bloom shop, and I think you're about as contrasting as you can be to this physical space. This is filled with so much crusty musties that the little bell above the door doesn't really clang. It just goes like, right, as it sort of swings back and forth in its decrepitness. And this sort of Good Omens inspired shop is head to sort of floor with everything in there. And as you sort of picked up to last time, nothing really gets sold in here, right? Maybe some of the postcards sort of swinging around there. And Bloom is happily up on one of the ladders, tinkering with something, sees you come in and is very excited and crawls down and he goes, Velvet, it's me, Bloom, remember? And he comes down.
Darling,
and sort of,
so good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you as well. You know, I was working on a treatise and I think you would like to see it. If you'll just give me 45 minutes, I can get the notes together and we can have a proper chat. So if you just give me one
Well,
moment.
of course, but okay, business first, pleasure second, okay? Sit. Let's talk about our job.
Absolutely. Yes, the artifact.
Yes,
I
of
knew
course.
you'd get out of that hairy situation. I've read the papers. I suspect you may have been doing a little bit of the gambling, but just so.
Well, I can't confirm nor deny, you understand. But yes, so, well, Bloom, it was completely different than we thought it was. We thought it would be a device. It wasn't a device. We thought that Well, I don't know what else we thought, but it wasn't we could not have imagined. And unfortunately, I have some bad news.
Oh, heavens.
Yes, darling. And at this point, I think we're going to start pulling the camera back a little bit as she pulls out the knife and says, "Unfortunately, my love, I have overindulged." And there is no sirens. There's no bell. There's no crows. But if ever anyone were to come into Bloom's collection again, they would find him as part of it. In the back, very carefully pinned up on a rack, just like the rest of his interesting things.
As you are putting the knife into Bloom, and he's looking down, completely awestruck. This is a mystery that he clearly has never really thought to explore. I think maybe you've let go of the knife for a moment, and Bloom is almost curiously reaching towards the hilt itself. Do you allow him to sort of do this?
No, darling, that end is only for me.
And as you are saying that word out loud, his hand stops, like physically stops, like it hit a wall, and is pushed back almost by your willpower. You get the impression that you might not be able to give this knife away even if you wanted to.
It never occurred. I don't want to.
And this is yours. And as the life leaves Bloom's eyes, this isn't in a metaphorical way. You see it happen. The light actually leaves, and you just feel this beautiful and serendipitous warmth inside of the blade. And it pulses, and just sort of these like dark, oily dreams that you've been having sort of flash to life. And you see almost what we saw in the opening, just sort of the vast emptiness, but you see the sea, and you see the water and the ink, and you can kind of feel the motherly presence underneath it. And something is calling to you, but it's beautiful. It's like you've just heard music for the first time. And yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be coming in here for Bloom after a while.
And she will very easily clean the blood off the latex, which is why she wore it, and just a slight little nosebleed. It's fine. Powder up.
Yeah.
Belt back together, and yeah.
And there are ample items in here if you'd like to make up your lost stack.
Of course. Anything that looks interesting, and especially if anything seems interesting to my friend in the knife, I am more than happy to pick that stuff up too.
Nothing in particular, but you think that you could probably cobble together a bunch of, I mean, not a lot of this stuff is very valuable, but you know enough collectors out there. You could probably assemble a stack without making it look like you completely robbed the joint. In fact, you could probably take quite a bit of stuff before anyone would notice.
Yeah. I will, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, before she leaves, I think she will hide the knife. This particular outfit's a little bit skin tight, but maybe like between the cleavage sort of thing. So it doesn't look like she has it anymore. She will fence the junk and then come back with the coin and say, all right, you win. Here's your cut.
Thanks for doing the right thing.
Of course. You made a deal, I can come back and visit every other Tuesday or whatever he said. Something about the treaties, who knows?
All right. That's great. So let's move on from there. And I think we have to do a bit of pedantic bookkeeping on top of all of that. So I want to do a little bit of XP before we sort of start rolling into the complication. Jenna, you already kind of self-calculated for yourself, right? That's great. Did anybody else do it, or should we run through this very quickly?
I think I got mine done.
Okay. Any updates, changes, or new special abilities you want to let us know about?
No,
Okay.
I just got I got 2 points, so I just added them to my prowess counter, which
Okay.
is not enough to add a tick to anything. So
Excellent. How about Mr. Dicer?
I gave myself one experience, which was enough to fill my prowess. So I ended up taking a point in prowl.
Okay, excellent. I would say please give yourself, I'm going to say 3 bonus XP for taking out your rival.
Okay.
That was not
That's huge.
necessarily, yeah, that was very big, big character arc for you. And I would say that you addressed that particular challenge with violence and discipline.
Absolutely.
I think that's about as much as you can get from that. So well done. That's excellent. Okay, Mr. Coffee, you want to run through your markers with me right now, or have you done that?
Didn't necessarily run through the markers, but I took the XP I had and I put a pip into prowess.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Mr. Coffee, if we do want to calculate a little bit more, I think you've got 2 scores under your belt at this point because you had your flashback episode and immediately went into another one, picked up a deadlock along the way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this a little bit. So 1, you struggled with issues stemming from a deadlock. Yep, you did. You got one. So please give yourself another XP. Another one, you address a challenge with talking or stubbornness. I really like that XP trigger, talking or stubbornness. Justin, in the last couple of scores, can you think of any instances of that?
Tried to talk to the guy that was running away from us.
Yep.
Convinced
So
him that
give yourself an XP for that.
Tell him I was his brother.
Yeah, and then I can think of at least one other instance when we were doing the heist as well, or the assassination. So how about you mark yourself a second XP? So that would be 3 XP in total. Mark them down in there. Okay, excellent. And I think we need to do the crew as well, don't they?
We do.
All right.
Which I have open.
So you completed, and we're going to count Justin's score as well. And we're going to kind of combine the 2 of them. So you completed a bank heist, art heist, intel heist, or jewelry heist. We said that we're not really going to be strictly bound to those categories. I'm going to say I'm going to give you 1 XP for Justin stealing the device, right? Which you managed to get. And I'm actually going to say, even though the last one was an assassination attempt, you ended up with some sort of like horrifying monster artifact. So I think that you ended up stealing a couple of things. So that's 2 XP right there. And does anyone actually have it pulled up and can be adding as I'm sort of saying this?
I'm going.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
we just hit the XP thing for 1 more special ability. I am going to clear that, and then we can keep going. So just know we're ready to pick one.
Thank you very much. You contended with challenges above your current situation station. Yes, you did. That's 1 XP. You bolstered your crew's reputation or developed a new one. No low-hanging fruit. No one else can do it. You literally took on a mission that the cop said this is impossible and no one can do it. I would also say Justin and his crew engaged in an insane Mad Mask escapade involving time travel. I don't think that the Ink Jacks who run the newspaper would have taken something like that on. Let's give you another one for that as well. And you express the goals, drives, or inner conflict of the crew. I don't think we need to dicker about that. Yes, you have been just crushing XP.
We don't have any inner conflict.
Yeah, absolutely not. Just ask Bloom.
Well, he wasn't part of the crew. That doesn't count.
Okay, so we do have the ability to pick another thing, or we could put some stuff into there. Let's hold off onto that right now. If at any point during this it makes sense to flash back into any of that stuff, we can pull it going forward. All right, good. So a couple of other things that we need to do. So we're going to say that you ended up with all 8 stacks. You do have a tithe that you pay to your ward boss. Is that something that you plan on doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Gotta pay the taxes.
All right, so that is -2 for that. So that's going to bring you back down to 6. And let's talk about heat, shall we?
0.
So let's
Smooth
figure this
and
out.
no one noticed.
And I think I'm only going to count this against the assassination that you did. I don't think I'm going to consider what Justin's one did as well, because there was so much time travel. I don't know how anybody would have tracked anything that happened. So let's just talk about the score that you did. So 0 heat, smooth and quiet, low exposure. 2 heat, contained, standard exposure. 4 heat, loud, chaotic, and high exposure. 6 heat, wild, devastating exposure. The floor is yours.
0.
Well,
That's the smoothest we've ever done anything. There was teamwork involved.
Mm-hmm.
Even when somebody noticed, somebody else picked up and distracted them and pulled away. And I mean, I even
Nobody
said it
knew-
in Discord last
nobody
week when
knew
we
when
finished. That's
we-
the most professional we've been.
I mean, we were-
nobody knew when we killed
time.
people. Now, there were fire alarms and nonsense and screaming and all of those things, but it wasn't ever connected to us, and we ran out like we were just patrons, the same as anyone else.
I shot fellows point blank in the middle of a room full of people.
But those people are all dead, right?
No.
No, they are not.
Oh, only some of those people are dead. Were those
Nobody
people
witnessed the
high
other
out
two
of their
because
gourds at the time?
I will say everybody was wearing masks
Mhm.
because the whole thing was a sexy masquerade type stuff. So, man, I thought I was really
I'm
going to
going
lay the hammer on you.
4 to 6, yeah.
I think, given what you did, because things did get crazy at the end, but you are also very stealthy. I'm going to start you at 2 heat. Let's say that this was contained with standard exposure. However, add 1 heat if there was a high profile or well-connected target. Yes, there was. That was Skinner. Additionally, add 1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf. No, that was actually on your turf. Add 1 heat if you're war with another crew, and then add 2 heat if there was killing involved, whether your crew did the killing or not. Yeah. So that's 2, 4. That is 5 heat that we're adding onto that tracker. What's that put us at?
Let me see. I'm missing where the heat. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right up the top. So I think we have a wanted level now.
You do. Give yourself a wanted level, and we can clear that heat.
Stumbled across the finish line.
Nailed it. Okay.
That's our
excellent.
real reputation.
Yep, it sure is. All right, so we've done that. So there's a couple of other things that we're going to need to get to. I'm going to go out of these a little bit out of order. Let's start with a little bit of unwinding. I know that people did downtime off air, and there's a couple of things that we need to deal with associated with that. But let's unwind. So this is a time where the crew can get together and just kind of hang out, really do whatever you want. I know that there was a moment of tension, but I imagine that most of it is past now at this point. What are you all doing? How are you hanging out? How are you just spending some time together as a crew right now?
What makes the most sense right now?
Well, question for you, Dicer. How have you been since you killed your long-term rival? Like, what are you doing? What do you have going on? Because if you're like totally fine and a very well-adjusted, upstanding citizen, then maybe we're just at the Black Diamond.
Yeah, pretty much am. I mean, I have a new target, but it was very satisfying to do what I did. So I'm pretty laid back and content. And as a side note, I did reduce stress, and I actually reduced myself down to 0 stress. So that kind of fits with, yep.
Okay, so are you at the Black Diamond just kind of hanging out right now?
The one
Maybe-
thing that's on
maybe
this
we're playing-
list that catches
Maybe
my eye
playing
is
cards. Maybe, yeah, go ahead.
The one thing that's on this list in the book catches my eye is fondue in the conversation pit.
Oh, I love a 70s conversation pit. Yes, let's have fondue. I think maybe though, can I say that we've taken up racing? Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just like go-kart racing or something. I think after that score, we kind of like.
Sure.
for
Yeah.
fun.
Sort of
Fun.
the.
This is like a
the-
post-race. We've been out
Yeah.
tooling around, and now we're having fondue. Oh, I
yeah,
love
you guys
fondue.
got music playing too.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's jazzing and popping, and I think that a couple of the professional waiters here on staff are going around. They've got Racer X's sort of bubbling and bursting, and they're pushing them around. I imagine that Mr. Coffee might have a couple of those in his possession right now. And Dicer, I actually think your neighbor is here, your little old lady neighbor.
Okay.
And I think she's quite tickled with sort of all of this. I don't know if she's really experienced things like this before, but she's just very charmed by all of this. And she's over with Mr. Coffee right now, and she says, "I didn't know a man could drink this much and still stand. You must tell me your secret."
Lots of experience, hon.
Really? Now, do you shoot it down all at once, or are you a sipper?
Oh, I can't remember the last year I sipped.
And she's like, "Okay, then. Well, let's drink one together. This is to you. You're a good boy."
If you say so.
Yeah, and I think people are just kind of having a nice time. I guess, yeah, you might have a little TV on with some of the races that are happening with things like that. And as this is going, if anybody has any stress, please do clear one additional one right now for kind of doing these things. Yeah, and how kind of late into the night do you think you guys are just hanging out and having a good time?
Morning.
Well, the Midnight Maven is not known for going to bed early.
Okay, at any point in doing this, does the club open and are just sort of normies coming through here to party and hang out?
Yeah, it opens a little after a normal dinner time.
Right. Yeah.
I think we're in sort of a VIP section, but there are other people around. Also,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt real quick. We got we have a thing we can pick, and I've been looking at some of the options for special abilities for the crew, and I'm not finding any that like totally like, oh, it's got to be this one. So if anybody
agree.
else has any, even from the other playbooks I've been looking at, I haven't seen. So if anybody has any ideas.
The only one I saw that makes sense is Benefactor. The rest of them, like Thieves with a Code, does not work for us. I don't know. The only one that kind of made sense is Benefactor, where we don't have to. We pay half the amount to tier up.
Okay, well, hold that thought. And let's say that the night is going on. I think that there might be a little bit of connection, even though it's a secret, that something with this club was associated with the big race. And I think it's caused quite a bit of a buzz. And I think that this is a booming nightclub right now. Not in the kind of way, but it's sexy. And I think you've got swanky personnel, and you've kind of got the right people here. You've got people with influence, and you've got people with affluence are here. And I think you might recognize
Racer X has been known to make an appearance occasionally, yes.
Every once in a while, but strangely, Belladonna always misses it, which is very unfortunate because I think they'd really get along. And I think the night is kind of coming along, and we're going to deal with a couple of things. Guildmaster Scott, if I recall, you accepted a devil's bargain at the end of the last score. Now, knowing your personality,
That doesn't sound like something that I would do.
I mean, it's no surprise to me. Classic reckless player. But you did accept a devil's bargain from somebody.
I did, yes.
Jenna, you also overindulged your vice, didn't you?
I might have.
Mm-hmm. And what are we going to deal with that? Which one did you end up picking?
I thought we could maybe do an entanglement, and I have updated my vice from being related to reading like screenplays and stuff for the show to the obligation to the knife being my vice. So that was my overindulged. That's not me saying that I chose that killing him was my overindulging consequences. That was just narratively what I was doing to clear stress, we'll say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to lump these two together. You are in your little VIP section, and you're kind of looking out maybe over the floor and things like that. And you see a subtle parting of people. They're almost moving unconsciously away from sort of a figure who's drifting down the middle. And sort of right at the VIP rope, you sort of see a hand reach out of this immaculately tailored suit, lift it up, sort of walk right past your bouncer, and sit down at one of the cushions right next to you. And it says, I was hoping that you'd all call on me, but I guess I'm just going to be half the one come around. How y'all been, Diamondbacks? Diamond Jacks? Which one is it? I get confused sometimes. Nice to see you. How y'all been?
Long time no see.
Did we
Slide him a drink.
Hey, I keep telling you that this is the. He said, as a recall, that when you were trying to escape out the back door, out of your last sort of assassination attempt, you were met with a locked door, and you had a little bit of trouble getting through it. And Victor St. James came through and seemingly broke a steel door with their hand, and said, "I'll be calling upon you soon." And now they're back. And so he says, "Hey, Dicer, thanks a million. You're a real one. This guy gets it. This guy, you should be in charge. Have you thought about co-ownership of this thing? Because you're a fella. I like you. Well, thank you very much. Drinks all around for everybody. Mr. Coffee, how you been? You're looking good these days. You've had a couple yourself, haven't you? Hey, you're a rascal. This guy's a rascal."
How can we help you?
Down to big. Okay, someone else must at least have one pleasantry for me. I came to your beautiful club. It's been a long time. Come on, one more nice thing, and then we'll get into it.
Oh, darling. We could say nice things about you all night, but you already know all the true ones. And Dicer has already ordered him a drink, so I think at this part, Belladonna just grabs it off whatever tray the waiter's bringing it and just hands it straight to him. So what can we do for you, dear?
Well, absolutely. And thank you kindly for inviting me into your club. This is a wonderful place, and I like being here. I think I liked what it was before a little bit more. It was quite a while ago. That this used to be a library? It was quite a nice place. I guess people are kind of talking instead of reading now. That's kind of a fun coincidence. But I come bearing some interesting news for y'all right now. Belladonna, that is quite the trinket that you picked up there, isn't it? And that is a damn interesting little finding. How are you finding it so far?
She looks at him in his eyes and just smiles, and then sort of turns to get her own drink and goes, "Well, it was fun while we had it, of course, but I did have an obligation to hand it over to its, well, I shouldn't say rightful owner, but the person who paid for it, so I haven't seen it in a while," and just takes a drink.
Now that's a damn shame, because I was hoping to get my hands on that thing, but as luck would have it, well, I'm in a bit of a situation that's pretty dang old, and that thing needs to be dang given freely to me, unfortunately. It's a complex tanglement that's been going on for a heck of a long time, but I would really like that thing. Now, y'all took out the Skinner. Am I right about that?
Well, allegedly there was some problems at the party. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I say it's good. That he was a curse upon our society, and the world's better off without him. So hats off to you, and I'm going to take a drink. You mix these good. This is the best one in the city. Well, the funny thing about all that happening is that boy Skinner was actually part of something a little important. Now, you see, he was feeding that there knife to an old creature and an acquaintance named Nada. And now that is a thirsty, thirsty, thirsty woman. And that old boy Skinner, well, he was keeping that thing drank. And he was keeping that thing sleeping. And boy, it's been sleeping for a long time. Everybody said she's gone and dead, but she ain't. And I don't know if you know, but that boy was doing some pretty extensive ritualistic stuff. And you stopped it. Now, let me ask you a question. Why did you stop that man?
Well, it's quite simple. Someone paid us to.
Now, why did they pay you to do that?
We have a bit of a reputation around the city, you might have noticed, for being able to do the complicated, difficult jobs. So,
absolutely.
Apparently, ostensibly.
You were the only people to go after it because I knew y'all would do it. Now, you see, as I talked about before, I can't actually touch that dang knife. It's really complicated, but some of y'all could do it for me. And I don't know if you've been playing around with it right now, but even if you wanted to, you couldn't hand me that knife either right now because it is thirsty, and whoever has it's going to hold on to it until it's full. And, well, I got a little bit of a good news, bad news situation right now. Which order do you want to hear it in?
Surprise us.
Surprise me. Okay, well, I'm a little bit old-fashioned, so I'm going to say the good news is that you can do whatever the heck you want with that knife starting tomorrow night. It's going to drink its fill. The bad news is since y'all interrupted the ritual, Nata's coming back. She's going to be here tomorrow. And she is going to cause a river and a lake of blood to fill through the streets of Duskfall in a way y'all haven't seen since all the Unity Wars put together. The amount of death, destruction, and suffering, it is going to be delicious. And y'all are a big reason for that. So thank you very much. You really helped out something I've been thinking about for a while. And you know, I first started thinking about this, must have been 200 years ago now. And I got other irons in the fire, but this is kind of a fun one to see come to fruition. So I've got a little bit of a proposal for y'all. See, there are going to be tens of thousands of dead people tomorrow. That's happening no matter what. Now, I'm going to give y'all a choice. See, you can just kind of move aside. You might want to move to the other side of the city for a little bit of a while. There's going to be a lot of death, but y'all be safe, and that's great. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's not the best option because there are going to be some people trying to stop this from happening. And if that happens, that knife isn't going to get its drink. And I'm not going to be able to be handed it to, but you might be able to hold on to it. But y'all be safe, and that's going to be fine. I would not recommend that. Here's what I would recommend. Those folks who are trying to stop this from happening, you know a couple of them, they work for the Duskfall Intelligence Agency. They're going to be coordinated whatever the heck comes out of the water, and it's going to be big. All I need you to do is to kill them. And if you kill those dang spooks, I'm going to be able to go in, and then that knife's going to be slated. You give it to me, and in return, I will make you kings of the city. Now, the city's not going to be in great shape, but I mean, heck, I'll give you a district. Mr. Coffee, you want Brightstone? You can have it. Belladonna, the docks suit you pretty nicely. You will be kings, princes, and queens of the city. And all you need to do is let the thing happen, do what you're so good at doing, which is killing, and just give me the knife. It's not a big deal. Duskfall has gone through a series of cataclysms and rebuilding. This is just part of the normal cycle. You know, it's been a little bit while. People are getting a little bit of uppity. And honestly, I haven't seen any action for a while. So it's just really your choice, whatever one you want to do. Now, here's how it's going to play out. I actually can't influence your decision, right? It's part of this whole pact that I've been in for a long time. But all you need to do, take them out, come to my tower, and then, we'll have your business. And I will make a promise on my life and on yours as well that I will fulfill and come through with this. So I'll let you ask a couple of questions, but it's pretty straightforward. It ain't too complicated. And if you know anybody in Brightstone, you might want to say goodbye to them because it's going to be a real mess there tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
Okay, he just said a whole bunch of stuff. So to recap what I think I heard, he orchestrated things so that we would be the ones left standing that Society 6, Section 6, went to get to Skinner. Because he wanted Skinner dead so that Skinner would give up the knife and he would have a better chance of getting it from us.
Yeah, Skinner was doing
he wanted
something...
the ritual interrupted, or he still...
Those ritualistic killings were feeding the knife. And feeding the knife was keeping this thing at bay. And you took the knife and you stopped the ritual from happening. And now as a result of that, this sleeping thing is going to be coming to the city. And it is going to drink itself without the knife. Right? It is going to get its fill in the way that big scary demons do, that sort of thing. And once that's happened, when the knife is slated and it's fulfilled and it's drank its fill, you can give it away freely at that point. But it will no longer be bonded to you or to anybody else. And so all you need to do is in the chaos, find the head of the Duskfall Intelligence Agency who's going to be coordinating sort of countermeasures against this sort of thing. Kill them. And if you do that and give the knife to Victor St. James, then the world is your oyster at that point. And if you choose not to do it and to simply retreat, a lot of people are going to die, but it won't be as bad because there'll be some sort of coordinated response that the Duskfall Intelligence Agency will pull off. And, a lot of people will die, but it won't be as, apocalyptic. It will just be a, medium cataclysm.
A lot of people are going to die either way.
A lot of people are going to die in one instance, and a tremendous amount of people are going to die in the other instance, according to Victor St. James.
Al will have a question.
Yeah. Al, you've been a quiet one. You quiet and sneaky. I like you.
Without taking his eyes off of Belladonna, he will ask, if we can't give the knife to you, can we give it to anybody we choose? Like if we were paid to give it to somebody?
I mean, if that knife got slated and, you put, it's like 10,000 bodies in that thing, sure, you could give it to whoever you wanted. I don't know how you're going to do that in one night, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, you wouldn't have to give it to me, but I don't know who else the heck would even want that thing or even know about it. But sure, it'd be yours if you wanted it afterwards. It wouldn't be too much use to you. I won't come after you.
Is what he's saying that, like, mechanically speaking, that the knife sort of reset its body count?
Yeah,
when you to me.
Pretty much, yeah. When you interrupted the ritual, it kind of reset itself, and now it needs a big old drink, or else the Nata is going to come claim it herself. Yeah, I mean, it's your knife. You can do whatever you want with it afterwards. I mean, give it to me, and you'll be dukes and bishops. I mean, whatever you want. Start your own church. I've done it before. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think you'd be pretty good at it.
Well, I will admit that I've toyed with the idea, but I have other things that I want to do first. Would you excuse me for just a moment? And she's like kind of smudged her lipstick on her glass, and I just need to just the restroom for just a moment, to fix her makeup. But actually, in the restroom, she's going to take that hold of that knife and like try to get back into the dark spot and talk to Nada.
Okay. Yeah. It comes immediately to you. There's you close your eyes and you were there. You were in the void, and you're floating in nothingness. And this just presence is almost an understatement, right? It's the feeling of looking down over a cliff and the feeling of vertigo, but just scale in front of you, right? It is massive, and this thing is looking at you, and you can feel its thirst, and you're just sort of feeling this primal feeling with you.
Well, darling, lovely to see you again. Looking great as always, but I did just want to have a little chat. I met probably a buddy of yours, perhaps a friend, maybe an old flame, who knows, none of my business. But he seems to be under the impression that the timetable that you're working on is much sooner than I was expecting. And I'm not saying that I ever thought we were equal partners, but I did expect some clarity of communication here. It's not really a deal if you never could hold up your end, you understand?
Yeah. And you don't get words back, but you get thirst, hate, and the image of Victor St. James appears in your mind. And at the same time, this symbol appears to you sort of simultaneously. You've never seen it before. And hate, but overriding that hate, thirst. And you know in the same way that you are a person, this is coming now. Victor St. James was not lying. This is not a timetable that can be moved. There needs to be 10,000 bodies at the back of this blade, or this is going to be coming.
Well, that seems like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. 10,000 people to the blade or 10,000 people to Nada. One of which I don't have to do the accounting for, might I add. But let's get back to this other part. So you hate Victor St. James? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, that symbol appears again, and it's like almost like captured in flames.
Is that a symbol for him? Is that something I should look into? I mean, I thought he was a bit of a... Well, we're in polite company, of course. I was suspicious of him from the beginning. You can ask any of my friends. Is there something I can do for you to get rid of him? Will that change any of this?
That's almost too complicated for this level of conversation, but the image you have in your mind of Victor St. James and the symbol, they're the same, right? It's almost like the feeling of feeling hungry and seeing the food in front of you at the same time. They're connected, but that you're getting a little bit to if that then sort of statement, and it's almost like negotiating with the rain.
All right, noted. Thank you. I suppose I'll see you soon. Take care. And I'll let go, fix my makeup, and go back to the table.
Sure. So Victor St. James is doing that thing that Midwesterners do, like slapping both knees. Well, I think I've, dawdled on a little bit too long, so I'm going to take care. I'm going to go away. Hope y'all make the right decision, and I hope I see you tomorrow, because it's going to be fun either way.
I
just have one more question. Is your pact over after tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, if y'all give me the knife, pact's all done at that point. I mean, heck, I might start my own pact at that point, because that's been something I've been thinking about for a while as well. But yeah, we'll kind of be out of that connection, kind of free to do whatever we want, which is exciting for me, because this thing's been a load on my chest for, well, y'all are young. You want to hear my old stories, so I'm going to take off.
I look over at my neighbor, Mrs. Idleman, and look back at Victor St. James, and I'm like, what if we just stop it entirely?
Stop what, nada? I mean, sure. How about you stop an earthquake? How about you stop a volcano? How about you stop the human heart from falling in love? I mean, you can go ahead and try, but you might as well throw yourself off of a mountain and hope that you beat the ground. But yeah, good luck with that. I hope that's not the decision you make, because y'all are a smart bunch. And really, Dicer, I think King of Brightstone would look damn good on you. You could bring your friend. You could bring her. She seems like a sweet old lady. Make her your empress or whatever the heck you want. The rules are yours at that point. You ain't gonna have to worry about me. I'm gonna let you do your own thing. I got my own games that I'm playing. So I'm gonna take care. You think about that. Fight a mountain if you want. I mean, fight a whale. I don't care. But I'm gonna be taking off. You all take care. You make the right decision. Toodaloo. See you tomorrow. Wear something safe. Put on a helmet. And he scoots out of there.
As he's leaving, I'm like, that drink was not on the house.
He goes, that is impolite, but game recognizes game. Here you go. And he throws the crew 5 stack.
Have a nice evening. See you tomorrow.
Evening, y'all.
I do not like that man anymore.
I want it to be known that I never did. I said that from the beginning.
There's no way we can do this. Being king or queen of a pile of ash and bone is of little interest to me.
Well, I can't say that I haven't heard a few stories about it that sound interesting, but the reality is a little bit more complex than what would be on the show, I didn't know that when we killed him it would reset all the things. We didn't know what it was. But it seems a little unfair that he was apparently close and then we were called in.
Yeah, and as you're talking about that, Dicer, your neighbor is sitting there like dinner plate eyes, and she goes, "Who was that?"
Nobody worth knowing. Why don't I see you home?
Well, but tell us what you think, because obviously we've been experimenting with different types of dinner theater, so he was one of the actors. Just think about it, give me your feedback.
Okay, what was his name?
Well, he was playing a character, darling.
Okay, who was he
Victor
playing?
St. James.
Oh, that doesn't look like a Victor. That's not a Victor.
I didn't think so either.
You should I don't like him, Dicer. You shouldn't have him around here anymore.
I don't like him either. I think I'm going to fire him.
I would like to go home right now.
Of course.
I see her out and see her to a cab.
Okay.
And so, where's the knife?
Well, of course it's right here, and she's just going to pull it out. And then she's gonna have a black ink fountain pen and a little pad of paper, because of course she would have those things. Draw the symbol. Does this look familiar to anyone?
Does it?
No. It looks like you're the first person who discovered an Egyptian hieroglyph. It doesn't look like anything you've seen.
Probably a few 200 years too young. I don't think any of us been alive long enough to know that.
Yeah, I don't think any of you are specialists in ancient and occult symbols.
Well, I wouldn't say I specialize, but I dabble.
Yeah,
but I
okay,
don't know this one.
Belladonna, I'm going to say that there's something tickling the back of your mind, and it's not this weird chthonic connection. There's something almost academic. Yeah, you do have a lot of experience with weirdos and conspiracies and things like that. There's something there, but it's nothing you've recognized before. It's almost kind of like if you took high school Spanish and then someone said something almost in like a dead Mayan tongue, you'd be like, there's something there, but it's so far disconnected from that.
It's actually completely disconnected from that because Spanish comes from Spain, but that I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So when I need to make sure that the things, the writing, the editing, the props, whatever for my show are legitimate, not anachronistic, I have people that I go to who are experts in such things and look things over for me. I'm wondering if maybe we could find out as much as we can about this before tomorrow. But I also think that we should pay Section 6 a visit because it seems ridiculous that this happened so close, and I was under the impression that they were professionals.
Who knows? Maybe they have 10,000 bodies lined up for us.
Well, wouldn't that be great? Because I really feel like I've been set up here and I don't appreciate it.
Okay. What do you want to do?
And also, we should probably make sure that Dustfall doesn't get annihilated. I suppose that's also true.
I've seen one city destroyed. I don't want to see another.
Same. Who are our friends? Let's think.
Well, Bloom. We got two contacts listed here. There's Bloom and Nagel, an aristocrat.
Oh, Nagel.
We also have a
Big
fearless
fan of dicers.
journalist on Owl's playlist. Or playbook, I mean.
And someone named Rusty, an information broker. Who we've not met yet.
Secret agent on Mr. Coffee Sheet.
By the name, I'm assuming someone who talks too much, Chatterley.
That's a great name, isn't it?
I'll also say that, if there's not someone that you necessarily know, you can always buy your way into the kind of person that you're looking for as well, if it's important enough for you.
And what about
I think that's what we should do. I think we should just go straight to Bellwether Crematorium.
what
or
about
whatever
Zipper?
it's called in 68.
What about Zipper?
Zipper is your DIA contact, who gave you your first score in the Eminence.
That sounds perfect.
All right, which one are you going to pursue? Are you going to go spooky and occult, or are you going to go cool guys in cool suits?
Anyone?
I feel like I've done a lot of the talking, so why don't we go cool suits so you guys can do the talking? I mean, this can be the Jenna show if you want. That's fine. I have all night.
Okay. Yeah, let's pass the ball to somebody else. So DIA headquarters is located in Brightstone, right on the waterfront, ostensibly where this attack is going to be happening, and the same place where you would presumably be assassinating the director of the DIA, if that's where you're choosing to go to. They, of course, have no knowledge of this as well, but it is interesting that you're choosing to use the same resource that you were told to eliminate.
Might help us if we make that decision.
Okay, yeah, so DIA is... Oh, sorry,
I
what
was
does...
gonna say, we certainly don't have to share with them that is one of our options.
Yeah, I guess keep everything on the table right now. So DIA headquarters, even though you are not necessarily agents, I think that you do have the credentials to get into the public area, right? You're known entities, you're agents, and the work that you did in the work with the Eminence and Esme Voss and the dress and everything like that. And your characters wouldn't know this, but as far as the DIA knows, you did a stand-up job and delivered to them exactly what they wanted. You know, they do actually have a fake right now. How they got the fake, who knows? Some agent somewhere did something. So yeah, you are there, and yeah, we're gonna say that Zipper kind of meets you in the stacks, right? It's kind of a clandestine kind of place. You aren't exactly a kind of person he wants to be seen publicly associating with. But yeah,
So we meet where
Zipper's-
we normally meet and get our mission briefings and things like that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, so Zipper's kind of there, just kind of chilling out, and he goes, "Hey, Diamond Jacks, it's been a long time. Hey, you finally here to talk about that job that I've been setting up for you in the embassy? Like that decoding device, we get that in our hands. It could make a lot of people a lot of money, especially you."
Yeah, we kind of have something else brewing that we needed to find out if you've heard anything about.
Okay, let's talk. Let's vibe. Let's feel. Let me feel your melody and your vibrations.
Anything?
In the back of your head, you hear, but we could kill him anyway, no matter what we choose.
Yeah, and I think Zipper sitting there just sort of with a cigarette in hand, looking cool as ever, kind of lean back. And Belladonna, you just see a sprawled corpse on the ground with 100 stab wounds, pinned up against the wall, and a burning remnant of this. And you can see through the walls for a moment, and the city is on fire behind you. But yeah, but
you
then
should have seen her perspective before this.
yeah, but Zipper's just sitting there cool as ice, like, what can I do for y'all? It's nice to see you, by the way. I should stop by the club sometime.
You should. Anything being picked up on the in the ghost fields? Any strange activities?
It's been pretty damn quiet. We had that big race, but Dustfall's been pretty good. I can't talk too much details about the Scovies, but they're pretty quiet right now.
And what if we've received news that something apocalyptic would be happening within the next day or two?
The sort of swagger just drops him, and the agent is sitting in front of you right now. What have you heard?
What's the name of the entity again?
Nada.
Nada.
Nata. Nata.
Actually, I don't mention the name. I slide the symbol over.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this?
Zipper puts on their glasses and says, "No, I've never seen this before, but I'm not an expert. Some of the girls who work in the archives might have seen this before. Do you mind if I bring that over there? You all good to hang out for just a minute?"
Quickly.
Sure. And Zipper takes that word seriously and zips out
off.
of there. Yeah. And you're sitting there sort of in this same place that you started, actually, this dimly lit fluorescent room. It reeks of stale cigarettes, and the ceiling tiles are yellowed, and there's a slow fan that's really just pushing the hot air around. And you've maybe got a couple of minutes before they come back. Is there anything you want to say or anything that you're thinking about?
How much?
I don't think I'm there.
Okay. So Zipper comes back with a woman. She's in her mid 40s, and she's got a lab coat on. And right at her waistline, there's this like gross smudge where it's clearly where she's leaning over tables all the time, and it's just sort of this like permanent marker, and she clearly puts that thing. I had a professor in college who did that. It was gross, but it very much reminds me of it. So yeah, they're sort of there, and Zipper says, "Hey, this is Kelly. She's one of our best." And so Kelly says, "Where did you find this symbol?"
Someone gave it to us.
Someone gave it to you before. I've seen things like this before. Do you have any background in the symbol?
No.
This comes from, it's almost myth. There's a story that happened in the first Unity War, not the one that you're all familiar with. This was almost more than 100 years ago. There's a tale that sort of is associated with this. It's almost a boogeyman And it's kind of funny today, actually, when you think about it, but there's a name that's attached to this that, means something a lot different today. It's kind of funny. I've never really pieced the two pieces together. You're probably going to think I'm kidding when I say this, but let me kind of do the translation for you. And she sort of starts pulling down pieces of the symbol and sort of translating them out. And she says, there was a wraith during the first Unity War, and there's a legend that this person was trying to make the conflict go on longer. My colleagues and I have talked about this quite a few times. It's not something that comes up, but it's probably a propaganda thing that was happening from the Empire, because really, who would want to extend the war? It was no one's best interest. It got so bloody and so brutal at the end. But I'm sorry, I'm wasting your time. I think you just stumbled across somebody's silly idea of a joke.
No, go on.
Okay, well, you're going to think that this is silly. I mean, maybe your mom and dad told you about this. There was a figure who was said to sort of be perpetrating this, and the legend says it's this, and she sort of turns that around, and it says Lord Skurlock. He said there was a figure, and they said that Lord Skurlock was this, I don't know, presence. And the reason that this is so funny today is, well, we're not too far away from Skurlock Tower. I mean, it's a name. It's a powerful industry. They're in stocks and they're in trades and everything like that. They're an old family, and sometimes I think that maybe they adopted this name as a joke, maybe around the time of the Second Unity War, but that's what we know. And I don't have too much more to say in there other than this figure of myth was supposed to have an unbelievable amount of blood on their hand. They said that in this one body there was the soul and the fear and the pain of more than 10,000, and that it was swirling and coursing through them. I feel silly talking about it in an age of medicine and science, but I'm glad that there's some more folklorists who are around here. Zipper, you didn't tell me that you were friends with such interesting people.
Well, what if we told you that it's not myth, and that symbol is going to bathe itself in blood in the next few days?
I would say I'm not qualified to have this conversation with you.
You say that this individual's one vessel holds potentially over 10,000 souls?
I mean, that's what the myth said. The myth said that this figure has been killing since maybe murder became into existence. And yes, this is a body of sin and deception and hatred and influence. And yes, the blood of more than can be counted is there. 10,000 is a number that you see in myths a lot. People like round numbers. Maybe it's 20,000, maybe it's 100,000. I don't know. Numbers don't really work the way that they were. Actually, in the archaic language, it was a base 8 counting system. So it's probably a multiple of 64. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But yeah, so bodies upon bodies upon bodies.
That does seem rather convenient for us.
I need you to know that this is ridiculously funny, considering my Duskfall's canon version of Lord Skurlock. Who is Mr. Freeze?
Cool party.
He's not, when you guys go back, I'm not doing the Victor St. James accent. Like, he just hasn't gotten this carefree yet.
It was just a persona that he put on.
Mr. Freeze became a Western cowboy over the years.
Yeah. Last time we dealt with Lord Skurlock, I must find this living heart to bring back my lost love. This Lord Skurlock. Well, howdy, y'all. How y'all doing? It's such a nice time to see you.
At least give him a belt buckle as a tribute.
Yeah. Maybe you kind of cycle through personalities and accents over the eons.
It's the angst, Like, you get tired
He's
of
evolved. He's evolved over a couple hundred years.
Maybe he got irradiated by the sun. Maybe
Okay,
he got his love back and now he's super happy about everything and just jaunty. Who knows?
So I think you understand what's been presented in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's have a scene. There are 3 paths in front of you right now. Path number 1 is you could let this happen, and you could contribute to the violence and slate the knife, let's say, allow Nada to walk free, assassinate the head of the DIA, return, and then you have the knife, and you could potentially return it to Skurlock. And much in the way that Blades in the Dark says, if you say you're going to give him 6 coin, give him 6 coin. I'm not kidding around. I will make you gods of Duskfall, and you will have an empire to rule. Number 2, this is just too hot. If y'all want to just lay low, that's fine. There will be blood, but it won't be your blood. And option number 3 is perhaps there's another way to have this thing slate itself. And maybe that's an option, and maybe it lies with, we'll keep calling him Victor St. James for the time being.
Well, I think you know what my vote is.
I think we feed Victor St. James to the dagger.
Option 1, my ratings go down. Option 2, my ratings go down. Option 3, we get rid of some asshole that upstaged me at the party.
And you get a good plot for a new show.
I like it. Yes.
I mean, he did tell us exactly where he'd be. Top of his own tower.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to need some friends, though. You did explain to Zipper what he's going to need to do, correct?
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to set that up in case we were going to go that path. So
Okay.
they're going to be aware of a possible Leviathan coming into town.
Okay, the mother of all Leviathans. So, Mr. Coffee, Owl, is there any consensus about this? Okay, then we are going to roll engagement right after we get back from a 5-minute break.
Okay.
It didn't take us much convincing. I was about to have to be like, think of how difficult it will be to get good service at the bar if everyone's dead. But no, Mr. Coffee was like, yeah, all right, I got nothing going on, sure.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, everybody. Stick around.
We picked the impossible.
Welcome back, everybody. Our scoundrels have chosen the heroic route, and I think this is going to be really exciting. So, as we talked about, we are going to jump right into our engagement role. Let me give you a little bit of a window dressing. Lord Skurlock said that Nata the Leviathan was going to be coming tomorrow night. That's pretty soon. I think you've got, let's see, it was probably 4 a.m. when he got there. I think you've got maybe 16 hours before this is all going to shake down. You're going to have sort of preparations and things like that. So you don't have all the time in the world to prepare like you normally do for those sorts of things. However, as Justin pointed out, you do have a target and you do have a location. Skurlock Tower, which is the headquarters of Skurlock Industries, a conglomerate organization that is really known for its charity. They own several hospitals that they donate to, and they have a really, really prolific blood bank as well, which they're quite known for. So that's what it is. Skurlock Tower is 800 feet tall. It is 80 stories. It is a huge skyscraper. Not the tallest building in Duskfall, but it's pretty damn big. And it is located in Brightstone as well, not too far away from the water, kind of the equivalent of the financial district in New York, if you spend any time down there. So you've got to get to the 80th story of a building, presumably. So let's figure that out. So let's talk about your approach. Deception, stealth, paranormal, social, or speed. And there's also assault as well.
We got rocket packs.
We do.
It is. Can we pause on this for 1 second? Because I had one more downtime action that I did not do, and I'm thinking at this point I would like to use it and a bunch of our money to
Acquire an asset.
Okay. What are you thinking about?
I think that
The biggest bulb of garlic we can find.
yeah, Belladonna was maybe not entirely sure if we were dealing with a demon or a vampire or what was going on, but like realizing, oh, it's Skurlock. Okay, what did they do? Blood bank. All right, we'll go for vampire.
Yeah, Skurlock, sort of in legend, is classically a vampire, a entity which the Church of the Holy Ecstasy of the Flesh denies exists. It is impossible to put a soul into another body. That is heresy and apocryphal. But yeah, that is
And it's never happened before in Duskfall.
Yes,
Never.
traditionally, as the myth says in Duskfall, that when a spirit, a vengeful spirit, enters into another body and stays there long enough, that entity then turns into a vampire. Now, vampires don't all drink blood; they do something where they are taking the life from the other. But in order for them to live, something else has to die.
Mm-hmm. And Velvet would be aware of all of this because these kind of myths and stories and legends are her bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to acquire some sort of... My first thought, and maybe we're having this conversation together, but my first thought was some sort of like demon bane, vampire bane charm, but I don't know if maybe we need to get a little bit more specific than that. I get the feeling that in order to kill him, we need like the knife that we already have, but maybe some things to avoid.
Something to weaken him.
Yeah, or like hold him or like something. I want to get I want to get something to take him down a peg a little bit. And we've got a ton of cash, and I'm willing to spend without asking anybody for permission. I'm willing to spend our cash to get like some good quality stuff.
Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm not going to charge you for any of this stuff. You're smart, you're capable, you've made the right connections, you've threatened the right people. I'm going to say you're at the tip of the top. You're the cat's pajamas right now. What I'm going to do is you're going to have to borrow time from me. The assault begins in 16 hours. The more complicated of the assets that you want to acquire, the more time I'm going to take away from you and get you closer and closer to endgame, as it were.
Okay.
So you tell me what you want and how powerful you want it to be. I'm going to tell you how long it takes you to acquire it. And that's true for everybody across the block. And if a couple of things make sense to be done concurrently, that's fine.
There's two things I'm thinking of that we should have as prep. One is something that's going to be able to in some way slow him down or hold him, would be nice. But another is something that will make it so that he can't one-shot each of us individually, like some sort of charm or maybe some sort of like ward or something like that. Maybe we get matching tattoos that say "do not bite." I don't know.
Go full supernatural. Yeah.
We'll like tattoo poison dart frog patterns all over ourselves, so when he looks at us he goes, "Ooh, I don't know that I want to eat that looks poisonous."
Okay, so you want some sort of arcane ward.
Protection.
Yeah. Okay, so without getting into the level of paranormal anomalies and things like this is a incredibly strong entity. It is significantly stronger than what your tier would represent. It's a few higher than you. So, and I assume, do you want one for one of you or for all of you?
All.
Yeah, I would think we would each want one, the same way you would with a Demon Bane or Ghost Bane charm.
Okay. I'm going to say one basic charm for each one of you is going to cost you 5 hours in total. This is minus 16, so that puts you at 11. If you would like to boost those to be as quickly as possible, this is going to take 8 of your 16 hours.
And by boost them, you mean like bring them up a tier?
Bring them up a tier, yeah, to really strengthen them. The more complex and stronger you want, the more this is going to take you.
I'm good with that.
I'm going to try and make a deal. I would prefer 5 hours instead of 8, but I understand if it doesn't work that way. I want to try and make a deal with Nata. Basically, I would like to try and convince her, hey, why wait until tomorrow for those 10,000 souls when we can give you this guy tonight? Just help us with this part a little bit. You know, sprinkle a little salt on there.
Oh boy. That makes sense.
You're hungry.
You did this,
why wait till
Brandon.
tomorrow?
It is. I'm trying to think. Someone needs to roll a dice. You are not allowed to modify this roll. This
Okay.
is desperate
Okay.
or standard effect. You choose what you want. I'm going to tell you right now before you roll, failure is going to reduce time.
I mean, I feel like it's a sway.
Yeah.
So I have two dice. Let's do it.
Oh, no.
I can screenshot this for you if you want, but that is double sixes.
Double sixes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to say that is a critical success. So you got exactly what you wanted. You are
As usual.
11 hours. You don't get the sense that Nada fully understood what you wanted, but you fed into this idea of violence, and you sort of promised, if you can hesitate, there will be more violence, a better
Big tasty
meal.
snack. Big tasty
Big
snack.
tasty snack. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I'm going to say you have acquired, and feel free to put this on your sheets or just kind of keep it in mind. Let's call this a tier for St. James Bane. That is going to be there, and that is going to directly
One
provide
load.
you with a level of defense. Yep. Yeah, that will cost 1 load for you to bring in there. And you know, are these sort of technology, or are these arcane?
Struck me as arcane.
Yeah, knowing Duskfall
I feel
now, I
arcane.
feel like it's probably a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it's probably arcane on the inside, but it has that like brown plastic on the outside.
Yeah. I'm gonna say they are these almost little they're little bottles that go around your neck, and what you're supposed to do is to uncork them, and vapor is going to come out, and it will sort of keep you safe as well. You hear that they were sort of acquired quickly from a curiosity shop, but the proprietor was not there, and they didn't have time, so they just left the money. And they say, I couldn't find Bloom anywhere, but I managed to pull
Well,
these out.
that's not a surprise. He could have been in one of 17 offices doing whatever the treatise was.
Okay, T-minus 11.
I don't want to be that guy. Does that count immediately towards our load, or only if we use the item?
Yeah, only if you use the item.
Okay, so we don't
Yeah,
mark it off now. Okay.
Yeah, they're there
By
for
the
you.
way, I believe we're going in loud. I mean, I am anyway.
I
I'll
was
just go
ready.
ahead and say that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, but that was my presumption. If you all went light, that'd be pretty cool. Very confident. Okay, is there anything else that you want to try to get your hands on?
I'm just getting all the guns.
Should we talk to some friends and some potential friends before we go in? Well, because I feel like we're going to need to do all the hard work, and I don't want to have to deal with the the potsy-fotsy stuff too. So maybe if we went to the church or something, DIA, got them to handle all the mooks. We only care about the 80th floor. We don't care about floor 1 through 79.
But we have the DIA working as if they're going to be dealing with the emergency, that we're kind of setting up that we're going to, do what Lord Skurlock wanted us to do.
Does Skurlock
So the
have
DIA, I think, is kind of tied up.
does Skurlock have an enemy faction that we can motivate against him?
There might be some corporations that aren't very excited about it. So, there might be some hired muscle from some sort of rival corporations. As far as the world knows, Skurlock is a Tony Stark-esque charitable person, seems to be everybody's best buddy. And one of the good ones. It's supposed to say there's no good billionaires. There might be one, and it's Skurlock.
I think I've heard that, yes.
I think we get the Silver Echoes involved. Those old timers don't like that type of music.
Yeah, I mean the Echoes do have a robust security force that they keep along with them. They're your buddies. They will certainly provide you with firepower if you need it from them.
Could they perhaps perform a distraction at the bottom floor?
Well, no, it would be on top of the tower overlooking. It's their last performance. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay, do you want to try to get a couple of hands from there?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I was
Okay.
also thinking maybe go to the church.
But if the church doesn't acknowledge that what he exists, they're not going to help us protect ourselves from him.
Well, the low-level ones don't, but the high-level ones will know in order to keep their revenue stream going.
How about Al comes up with something, some sort of concoct? Can you do something with Sunshine number 9 to take out the majority of the building?
Well, now we're getting into planning.
Right.
And we're going to get to that in just a moment. Let me know if there's any pre-assets that you want to get in there. And if it is, I want a shitload of Sunshine number 9, and I'm going to do something with it. We'll figure it out later. Hell yeah.
Shitload of Sunshine number 9, and we'll do something with it later.
That sounds great.
That
to me.
Owl, is that okay in your playbook?
Yeah.
Did you have anything else in mind, Al, as far as wanting to gather?
I mean, I'm thinking in my mind we're going up in jetpacks, and I'm going to need a placed explosive to
Wreck a
open
window
up to get in.
or wall.
If we could shoot it, but unless it's bulletproof, I don't know we don't know what he's got up there, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much part of the demolition tools, though, I think. So
5 hours for Sunshine number 9, 5 hours for jetpacks. That puts you
We
at
already
1
had the
hour.
jetpacks.
I already had them.
Oh, do you already have those as an acquired asset?
We flew off
On
the
on
first
the
one.
first mission.
mission.
We flew off in them. We kept them.
Sounds good. Okay, so 5 hours for Sunshine 9. Put you at 6.
I think
But,
Coffee?
I mean, he's definitely going in loud, so I've got the space for
Mhm.
That's not a problem. It's just how we want to go in. If we want to try and game of death it and go up from the bottom, then we're going to have a whole different type of approach. But if we're going to jetpack up and blow a hole in the wall and just kind of go in guns blazing, then
Sounds like that's the plan. We're a little ahead of that. Okay, so we're going to say that this is an assault. If that's the case, we're going to say the detail is my backpack's got jets. I'm Boba the Fett. And that's the approach that we're going to do there. I assume you're going to want to try to get as high as possible, right? Going through that entryway?
Mhm.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense to me. The engagement roll might help determine that a little bit. How
Mr.
high you
Coffee.
get.
Yeah, Mr. Coffee, do you want anything specific?
I don't know vampires well. I might bring some sharpened table legs and some holy water. I got no idea.
If you just want to say weapons that could hurt this thing, Justin, we don't need the specificity.
Yeah.
You've got armor. Do you need weapons?
Yeah.
Okay. Weapons for who?
We know we want to kill it with that thing, but I don't know what to wound it with.
Right, exactly. So weapons for who in the group?
him.
I wouldn't mind having a weapon myself.
I'm going to say 1 hour per weapon.
Well, I don't need one.
I don't.
I have an electro blade, which I think should do the trick. So I'm hoping I don't need anything else. So an hour for Mr. Coffee.
An hour for me.
You want a weapon for your raccoon?
Oh, he's deadly enough.
Lasers on top. Yeah.
Tiny raccoon gun.
Yeah.
It's the trash bag. All right. Anything else? I'm going to give one more offer if anybody does it. You do have time. And, getting down to the wire is kind of fun.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you the choices that you are making now are going to have significant impact on how this is going to happen. So if there's anything else you can think of.
I think the ideas that I have right now are ones that can safely be flashbacks. So
Done. Okay.
Thumbs up,
We
thumbs
ready?
up.
We ready to roll engagement? Okay, so this is an assault, and the detail is jetpacks. Okay, so is this operation particularly bold or daring? Take
No.
+1. Okay. Does this plan rely on overly complex, or is it contingent on many factors in order for this to be pulled off?
Yes.
Jetpacks need fuel. We're good.
jetpack, knife.
Go.
I'm going to say this is actually relatively simple. So I'm going to actually just say this is +1D. Does the plan detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Is the target strongest against this approach, or they have particular defenses or special preparations? Oh, yeah. You're down to 0 die.
We're going to his turf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I think we've gotten
We got a
gotten
background.
some help from some
Yep.
people.
gotten some.
Yep, you did. Yep, I'll
And
give you
some-
1 die
We've
for that.
collected some we did. I joked earlier, oh no, it'll just be a shopping episode. No, we've done the shopping episode now.
Mm-hmm. there are any enemies or rivals interfering with the operation, take 1d minus. Nope, not at all. Are there any elements you might want to consider? Maybe a lower tier gang will give you plus D, maybe a tier blah, blah, maybe there's a situation in the district that makes the operation less tricky. I'm going to say that there is one other factor that we haven't discussed yet that's in play. That is
I was going to
0.
say, and also, is the DIA, like, is there any type of citywide alert going on? Like, is there anything that we can use as far as, are they doing anything that's causing, an easier way for us to deal with this?
I'm going to say that you are not going to have to deal with the authorities. If you cause sorts of actions that are going to be doing that, the DIA is going to cover your asses as long as things don't get too out of hand. Like, don't blow up the building. Well, maybe you do. But yeah, the traditional police force aren't going to be there. You're not going to have to worry about the blue coats or hired guns kind of coming after you. Okay, so I'm going to roll 2D, and I'm going to take the lowest. That's going to be your...
First, wait. Before you roll, I just want to throw something out there. It just occurred to me. He told us to come see him, and he's portrayed himself as nothing but friendly. What if we just walk in the front door and ask to see him?
I would say that if you want to bring this down to the absolute wire, Victor St. James will be expecting you after the emergence. If you want to really risk it and say, okay, we're going to let the emergence happen, and we're going to time that with this at the same time, it's obviously very risky, but yes, in theory, Victor St. James would
see us before that. If we just showed up and asked to see him, he wouldn't give us an audience.
You could certainly try. I think it's risky. St. James seems pretty smart and might expect some kind of chicanery. But if you want to move this to a deception, you're all smart. I think you could probably figure a way through it.
Yep. Blow it up. Let's go.
Okay. All right.
It just felt like he's portrayed himself as nothing but friendly. It just occurred to me that we could possibly just walk in and then blow
stop
it up.
You. But jetpacks or deception?
Jetpacks and bombs and
rolling right now.
9, the whole bit.
That is a 6, and that is a 4. So we have to take the 4, unfortunately. This is risky standard operation. So you and sort of your posse are on top of, let's say, an adjacent roof. It is just a couple of hours before Endgame arrives. And Belladonna, you can feel it coming. There is a physical presence in the water. It's over the horizon right now, but something is coming very, very, very quickly. And it feels like a long lost love or a sunrise that you've never seen before, or almost anticipation of a first kiss. It's almost beauty that's on the way, but it's felt with that feeling of scope and vertigo simultaneously. You're all standing on top of there, kitted the hell out. I assume everybody's going in loud. Is that what we decided?
Oh, yes.
Yep. And I'm going to say, based off of this risky thing, the way that the building is constructed, based off of what you've looked at before, you think you can get in the 79th floor. The 80th floor appears to be inaccessible the way that you have. There's almost like a cage around it, right? Like some of the architectural cage or that Art Deco sort of thing. You wouldn't be able to directly get through there, but you suspect you could get in at the 79th floor and probably work your way up. You're not going to have to fight up your whole way. You're not going to have to own Bach the whole thing. But yeah, that's your potential. And I'm going to say you certainly have access right there. There are no cops on alert or anything like that there. But I will say, as you're standing there, you are feeling the building just subtly vibrating a little bit. Yeah. All right. What do we do?
Is the cage on the 80th floor, like there's no windows or anything that's protecting it from the sun?
Oh, there's definitely windows. There's a bunch of windows. In fact, there are just like dramatically enormous windows. It's not blue time right now, but blue time is going to be in a couple of hours.
Well, right, and that's fine. But this particular area is like when blue time hits, it will be through these windows. Then this isn't like
blue
time is artificial.
No, blue time is blue. That's real sunlight that happens when blue time happens. Yeah,
It's
I thought it was,
man-made.
I thought it
It's-
was.
it's not.
But a
it's not
man-made
like
diamond is still a diamond.
it's not like a thing in the sky. Blue times, there's some sort of opening that's happening.
Still
some sort
got
of shift.
UV.
That's real sunlight. They're
Okay.
really growing crops with that. For all intents and purposes, it's there. Like people got sunburned for the first time in 1,000 years, and no one knew what to do. So yeah, that's real sunlight.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that if you wanted to wait a little bit, and Belladonna, you get the impression that there's a reason why Nada is coming at this time, and I think that it might want to display itself in the glorious light as it's doing this. So yeah, there will be sunlight, and you can tell on the 80th floor there are some ostentatious windows that are in place that only a embarrassing billionaire could love.
There's no accounting for taste. Okay. Well, that's fine. I just wanted to check because if it was a question of like making some windows to give us a little extra edge, we could have done that. But cool. We don't need to worry about it. Well,
Some
ladies
walls are-
first. So the 79th floor.
You are
Someone blow
prepared
us
and
up.
ready to go. I'm not going to make you roll anything to get in there. What does this look like?
Who's blowing us a hole?
Are we doing that, or do we want to? I mean, we said we were going to do it. That was the roll, I guess. But
Just do it, man.
Yeah.
Flick the switch.
yeah,
press the
we
button.
fly over and I place an explosive.
There's no such thing as being subtle in a jetpack anyway. Like, they know this is happening. You can't. We're not like.
Yeah, I have
people
placed
on us, we're
explosives, so
a
I
little
just
rain cloud.
I place one in the center of a window and fly back and.
Yeah, so there is this concussive, and we kind of see from street level, and a shock, and just a microsecond later, and shards of glass are raining down on the street. People are screaming and running, and there's chaos suddenly out of nowhere. But we're sort of, the camera is inside the building, and this kind of crew of Diamond Jacks and a couple of your hired guns as well from the echoes zip through there as well, and you sort of skid to a start. And I'm going to say you get the jump on the 79th floor. You're right at the atrium. There are two guards right there who, in a panic, are reaching for their guns in order to do something to try to neutralize you, but you've got the jump on them, and and one of them is reaching for their walkie right now, so they're sort of scrambling to get up.
Use the speed to take them out. We're still flying.
Yeah, just fly straight at them.
Yeah, fly straight at them. Take a blade to them if we have to.
Okay.
Or a raccoon.
Or raccoon.
Don't drive angry.
How much do you want to do?
How many guys are we talking about?
Knock them down.
Just two.
Just two?
I'll take the one on the right.
I'll take the one on the left.
And you okay with the skirmish?
Group action.
Very appropriate. Yeah, and feel free to push yourself if you want assistance or anything like that as well. And I'm going to say that this is risky standard.
All right, I got a 6-3.
6-3. That is a success. Mr. Coffee, what did you do to this poor guy?
I saw him reaching for the walkie. I zipped over with a dagger out and stabbed him in the throat. Don't want
Okay.
anything. Oh, going over radio.
That is a dead person. And of course, the moment that happens, we hear the woo. The death knell has sounded. But I have a feeling that was going to be happening anyway.
I mean, there was an explosion.
Okay. Next, is that you, Dicer?
Yeah, I actually have a special ability called Military Discipline, and twice per score. I can use my training to push myself during a fight without taking stress. So I'm going to use one of those right now. A 5 is the highest.
Okay, that was risky standard. I'm going to say that you kind of go in there. What was your method of attack?
I landed, pulled a knife, flipped the knife over so it wouldn't be killing, and hit him in the head with it.
Okay, yeah, as the guy is going down, he just got his piece out, just bah! And he fires off a shot, and it kind of skips you across it. I'm going to say take a level 1 harm raised.
One second. So how does armor work in this?
You take off the load that would be associated with that, and you will negate this damage.
That's okay, but I don't lose the armor, right?
Not technically anymore, but I'm going to say that it's going to start deteriorating as you continue to use it.
Oh, so as long as you're wearing the armor, all physical harm is reduced by 1 level. Okay, every time.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, so that goes down to a level 0. That's level 0 harm. You take no, it sort of, the bullet sort of grazes directly off of your body armor and kind of goes in there. Okay, so that was taken out very smoothly, very comfortably. You are on sort of this this floor. This is clearly part of the larger penthouse as well. This is sort of the lower floor. You are surrounded with art and antiquities and beauty and tapestries and war artifacts and everything like that. You sort of came in through the window at the opposite end of the building, presumably where the stairwell is, where you think that it's there. But this is a huge cavernous open space. You can actually see it way ahead of you. Let's say it's 250 feet ahead of you. What do you do?
I'm sorry. I'm theater of the mind here. There's a stairwell up, you said?
There's a stairwell up about 250 feet in front of you, up to the 80th floor.
Is there an elevator for the rest of the floors?
There is, right next to the stairwell.
Excellent. Okay, so while they're killing people, I'm going to saunter over to the elevator and really bust it up so nobody can use it.
Okay, excellent. Give me a roll.
Sure. I might... I was thinking that I would probably have an Electroblade anyway, so I think I'm probably just gonna like jam an electroplasmic blade in there and
Okay.
That was my hot plan. Let's see what I have.
I'll give you either an extra die for that or increased effect.
Sure. Let's see. I got 1 in finesse and 1 in prowl, but I have nothing in skirmish or wreck. So let's just go ahead and do wreck.
Okay.
Roll 2, take the lower, I guess. I guess I can push myself for it. I'd be interested to hear what kind of devil's bargains you have, considering we're literally here to kill the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. An old friend is going to pay you a visit.
How can I say no to something that ominous?
We get to visit a rival, it sounds like.
Well, I have so many old friends, you know. I have a couple guesses as to who this is, but we'll deal with that later. I'm going to take it. So that's... Can I push myself into a devil's bargain? I can never remember which ones don't overlap.
Go for it. It's the finale.
Sweet. Okay, so that is 2 dice. 2 dice, 2 dice.
And I'm going to say this is because of what you did, the knife and everything. We'll call that risky standard.
A 4 and a 6.
4 and a 6. That is a success. So as you are futzing around with the elevator, you're screwing around with the mechanics. The cab is actually coming up as you're doing this simultaneously. And just as you break this thing, and you are 100% certain that you've wrecked this thing, sparks are flying and everything like that, the doors do open. And as that does, this metallic figure walks out, and it is a automaton. It's a hull. and it kind of lurches out sort of awkwardly, almost like Frankenstein's monster-esque, and it sort of looks around and sort of unfurls itself out of the elevator. And this thing is huge, right? Maybe 8.5 feet tall. And it looks down at you and it says, Belladonna, where is Dicer? Bring me to Dicer.
Fellows, we don't have time for you. Could you please just cut it out? And she is going to straight up try and just shove the electroblade into him so that he gets pushed backwards into the elevator shaft.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. What are you doing?
You are such an asshole. You take up so much time. You have no respect for anybody else's. I'm doing things here. I don't have time for you. Where is Dicer? Who am I, Dicer's keeper?
Am I my Dicer's keeper?
Apparently, you're his mom.
I have to do everything around here.
You do.
Yeah, so I'm still just using that same electroblade, but I imagine this is just this skirmish?
Sure.
I don't have any
Can
in
I-
skirmish either.
Can I assist her?
Absolutely. Take a stress.
It would be very in character for you to assist her.
Yeah.
Is it 1 stress now or is it 2?
It's
Pushing
gonna be
yourself
1,
is 2,
pushing
and then
yourself
helping
is
is
2.
1?
Stress is 1, but the stress goes to Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, Scott, what are you doing to assist?
I hear him say, "Where's Dicer?" And I'm like, "Right here, you." And I don't know if I can curse on stream, so.
Yes, you can.
and I just open up, boom, 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 to help her.
That works, because he's like super tall, and Belladonna's, I mean, even in heels, she's not that tall. So, yeah, okay. I still will roll and take the lower. Well, with 1, so I just roll 1 then. Yes, okay. Math is not as hard as it is for me, kid. Stay in school. That's another 6. Google, okay, rolling Google Dice.
Okay, well,
I don't have
Yeah.
physical dice right now, I'm sorry.
no, it's absolutely fine. So the two of you describe the business that you're doing to this construct.
I think he is putting holes all along the top of it, and some of those holes are just getting an electroblade jammed into them, and she is just pushing, and she's so much smaller than this thing, right? Like, she's like the heels are sliding backwards on the floor instead of her giving any momentum, but the bullets and the electroplasm or whatever is enough that like we just get him back into that elevator shaft. Or at least knock him back towards it.
Yeah. So, and then Dicer, what's happening simultaneously?
Like I said, I mean, I'm mostly trying to be a distraction so she can do what she's doing. So I'm hitting shots off his head and causing him to, like not being able to focus on her while she's doing that.
It's a wrecked elevator, and we're 79 floors up. It's a long fall.
Yep.
Yeah. So this thing that used to be Fellows is very damaged by this, but it is still up right now, and it's sort of, I think one of the arms is actually gone, and there's some kind of fluid coming out of it. And Dicer, it's still locked with you, and Belladonna, I think it just pushes you aside. It doesn't have the energy to hurt you, and it is just lumbering towards Dicer, and it's just going Dicer, 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 Dicer.
I'm like, guys, go. And
It's not that kind of finale, Dicer.
Oh, don't give him the benefit.
I still have the jetpack on. I'm flying full force with the jetpack into this thing and trying to push it into the elevator.
Okay.
I'm armored. I'm armored and I have a jetpack. Yeah, I'm becoming a missile.
Okay. What are you rolling? Is anybody helping you out?
I'm going to help you out.
And what are you rolling, Scott?
Skirmish.
Okay,
That's
this
skirmish,
is... Okay, I'm going to say that this is desperate for standard effect because you are flying into an open elevator shaft 79 floors below. That is a 790-foot drop, approximately. But this is going to do exactly what you want it to do.
Okay. So I get a die from
Mm-hmm.
Eldama. Any bargains?
Yes, I'm going to say that all of your jetpacks are going to be out of fuel after this, if you accept the Devil's Bargain.
Everybody's?
Everybody's jetpacks are going to be out of fuel after this.
Then I'll take a vote because I won't do that to everybody.
I'll be able to get down.
Yes, no, guys?
Yeah, I figured we were kind of done with the jetpacks anyway, so I'm cool with it.
Well, yes, but the thing is we're kind of also what he's saying is we're not leaving if we don't have the jetpacks.
Not that way.
Not that way, yeah.
Or through the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stairs.
Justin, are we okay with that?
We're okay with it.
Okay, no, I do, but I love the idea of that, like, at the end of Ocean's 11, they're playing the cool, sexy music, and then it just cuts to Ocean, like, walking down, and he's on, like, floor 69, and they go, hey, nice, and then just keep walking real tired, and then the credits end, and it's, like, floor 17, and they're like, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be that.
Yes, exactly my thought.
I might be rushing ahead to help him. I'm not going to try to help him take out the guy, because I think he's got that handled. I'm going to rush over to potentially try to catch him if he goes down.
That's what I was going to do to help him, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, excellent.
4 dice.
Come on, give one to me. Give one to old Brandon.
Nope. 2 6s, a 2, and a 1.
Okay, well, I guess this is your finale, not mine. Yeah, so I think, you rush forward like it's like Iron Man with all sort of the analogs that we have there. And you sort of blast into Fellows, and he's sort of holding himself down there, and you're pushing back and forth, and there's sparks and electricity flying everywhere, and just for a moment before he falls down, Fellows looks at you right in the eyes, just sort of these burnt out husks of what the man that used to be, and he said, "Put him in the ground for me, soldier," and just boom, and he flies back, and boom, 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 boom.
Excellent.
All right, so
I land at the end, at the edge, and turn around and drop the rocket pack down the elevator shaft as well, and then just because pull out grenade, drop it down the elevator shaft as well.
One more punch on your frequent killers card and we get a free ice cream.
all right, so that was it. The stairwell is open and in front of you.
Oh, that's why Al keeps giving us ice cream.
I burned through 5 of my load already. Okay, let's go.
All right, you heading upstairs?
Absolutely.
Okay, so as you come around the corner and you sort of go in there, you are in an ostentatious penthouse. There are floor to ceiling windows. I'm going to say they're all about 25 feet. You're almost kind of in the top of an egg right now, right? Sort of the shaped glass that's on either side, sort of held together by trellises and things like that. And as we talked about, there's sort of that cage that goes around it. It's like an architectural cage. It's holding the glass in place. It couldn't freestand with it's this big. And Victor St. James is sitting down in his chair. He's got a little glass of sherry.
It's his
Yes,
whole
Scott?
Fabergé egg, like
Yeah, he's in a big dumb egg.
he's a big Fabergé egg. Yeah.
I guess it's time for his monologue.
Well, yeah, and so he just says, "What the hell are you doing here?" you know, I guess you'll be safe here, but it ain't gonna do too much for you. Were you the ones causing all that racket? Come on, what's your end game here? What are you really trying to achieve? I mean, stop wasting our time.
You're a smart man, Victor. I think you can figure it out if you try.
You did some snooping, didn't you? What did you learn about me?
That your favorite color is blue. So I would like to do 1/2 things right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 special abilities that kind of go together. So I have Echo Twin and Echo Walker. When I take 2 stress, I can summon an Echo Twin. If I take 1 additional stress, they appear completely solid and stable rather than like glitchy. An Echo Walker is when I push myself, I can disappear into the resonance field and then reappear later wherever I want, as long as I can move there physically. And I take harm from that, but that's like fine or whatever. So what I would like to do is have this conversation as my Echo Twin. Like my twin is the one just going, your favorite color is blue. And you haven't brushed your teeth since Tuesday. Like just stupid stuff. And then actual Velvet is going to slip into the resonance field and immediately appear behind him.
Okay, well, I don't think he's noticed you behind you. And he's still talking, and he just says, you know, I so rarely get to have an honest conversation. Really, what did you find out about me? I'm just curious. Just call it professional courtesy.
The Echo Twin version of me is actually like a ghost, like from the resonance field. So she probably starts saying some like actual like vampire lore facts. Like she probably, I don't know. But I don't really care whatever she's saying, because the whole point of her being in front of him and me apparating behind him is so that I can pull out that dagger.
Okay.
And then
as you're getting ready to do that, and they're sort of listing out the vampire facts, he says, you know, some of those are true, some of them ain't true, but I don't know if you did your research. One of the things is I'm a liar. Sorry about that. And as he's saying that, Belladonna is here. Your time is up. There is a rumbling outside, and out of this Fabergé window, this towering figure is rising and rising and rising and rising and rising, and it is as tall as this building. And there's this scaled, enormous, unbelievably almost unwatchable thing, and it lets out a bellow, and the entire tower shakes. And you see it kind of lock eyes with you and lock eyes with the tower, but you know in your brain it is not allowed to interfere with any of this. And it turns and it looks towards the Six Towers and Brightstone, and it begins moving through the harbor. The ships are being pushed out of the side and pushed out of there, but it's here. And very distantly, you begin to hear the first screams.
how many stress would a flashback to summon Mothra?
Mothra. Well, you did not acquire the Twin Fairies as an asset, so it's going to be a lot of stress.
I knew we forgot something. Yeah, okay, so Kaiju outside. Belladonna just goes, you know that's not my problem, and just goes to stab him anyway.
Okay, what are we doing here?
Stabbing.
Okay, yeah. With what would you like to do?
I actually feel like this one's a tune. I mean, we could totally go for wreck or skirmish if you want. It just feels like there's supposed to be a little bit more of a...
Yeah, I'll let you attune. I'm going to limit your effect with this kind of thing. This is a knife of a serial killer, and that's what it's supposed to be for. I'll let you attune, but I'm going to limit your effect.
Is there not... Well, I guess there doesn't have to be like a ritualistic way that you for it to It's not like unlocking or using a power it has, right? Like it's just kind of, it just is a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I had a different idea of that in my head. Well, still, one second, because I need to take all that stress that I said that I would before I forget.
Yep.
Okay. That is done. Okay, do I get any benefit from having tried to distract him at least? Like, he didn't know I was there until I was already trying to stab him.
Yep, that'll come into the factory.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'm just gonna try and attune. I'm not gonna push myself because that would put me out, but
I'm going to say that this is risky for limited effect. Now, this is not no effect. You will cause damage. This thing is going to hurt the hell out of this thing, but this is not going to do what you want it to do all the way.
Can somebody help?
I've got a special weapon I'm meant to help with, but I'd be coming up from the front. He sees me.
well, I mean, that's
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
It's good.
Okay, great. I'm going to give you, well, your choice. Do you like an extra die, or would you like to trade position for effect? And we could say that this is risky standard.
I'm on the fence. What do you guys think? I'm leaning towards effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So just standard straight up across the board. I'm gonna roll one die. We'll see how it goes.
The way you've been rolling?
Why did you say that?
Because I like to.
Here you go, Brandon. It's your time. It's your turn. I rolled a 1.
Yeah. So as Justin, as Mr. Coffee is coming up, he sees in Mr. Coffee's eye your reflection behind him. And one hand just kind of goes back and he grips you and he just whips you across the room, and your body hits and tumbles and falls, and you smash into one of his desks. Level 2 harm, broken arm.
Level 2 harm. 1 second.
You can certainly resist it, but that'll cost you 2. Yeah, as he does that,
I don't think she has to stress them.
He goes, "You should not have done that." And he says, "It's going to be it." And he says, "Let the fire commence." And he just goes, "Justin, he's got you right in his sights." And Mr. Coffee, he just sort of, phoom, and just for that second, you remember him punching a steel door. And he's coming at you, fist in the air, sort of flying at you. Is there anything you want to do?
Pop the cork.
Yeah, pop cork and try to hit him with this weapon as best I can.
Okay, yeah. Cork is popped, and yeah, you've got your weapon. Justin, what is this thing?
Let's say I'm a fan of going in for melee. It is a really, really, really nice piece of wood that's been carved into a stake.
Excellent. Beautiful steak. Okay. And then I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to act out of order. Is there anything else anybody else is doing simultaneously?
Owl, you haven't done anything yet?
I guess, yeah, the stake, if I spent an hour getting it, let's just say I probably stole it from a church.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. Go full Constantine, and it's actually a crucifix that's been carved into a stake at the bottom.
So, Justin, you did specifically engineer this weapon for this sort of thing. You do have, you are there. So I'm going to say that if you'd like to strike, this is going to be desperate or standard effect.
I'll push myself.
Okay. Would you like to push yourself for an extra die, or would you like to have this be risky standard?
Can I assist?
Yep.
Then I'll do risky standard.
Risky standard. Okay.
Still pushing myself. And does the assisting give a die? What's the assisting do?
Yep. Gives you a die.
Perfect. All right. 135.
135. Okay, that's a success with a consequence. So that stake buries into Victor St. James's arm, and he looks down on it, not in pain, but in just the most sheer irritation that a mosquito has just bit him. But you do damage. That something sort of flows out of him. And I'm going to say that the consequence is not directed towards you, Justin. The consequence is that Nada is moving through the docks and has arrived on the shore. You are starting to see little fiery trails of explosions that are starting to happen early on the docks. And you start to hear alarms screaming across the city. But you were right in the right place at the right time, and you've done serious damage to Victor St. James.
Need that dagger.
All right, what's next?
Al is going to step up. He's going to pull his trench coat aside and pull out a pump action scatter gun.
Yep.
And I would like to do a flashback in which he specifically made shells for it that are, I don't know, what would be?
That are vampire repellent or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be specifics.
Arcane bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. 2 stress.
Irritates.
They're yours.
All right.
And I'm going to say, I think you're in a pretty safe position right now. I'm going to say that this is controlled standard.
And what is it with firearms? Is that
Hunt.
hunt?
Although I'm open for negotiation.
I got nothing in hunt.
I mean, I suppose you could wreck with a shotgun if you're close enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, in my head, I'm stepping up to him. I'm not getting right up in his face or putting it right in his gut, but I am, closing.
If you want to get really close, I'll let you use an alternative skill, but this is not controlled anymore. This is now desperate for standard effect.
Okay, but I can use rec.
Yep.
Can I push and you do a flashback?
Yeah, sure, of course. Use all that stress.
That's what I'm doing.
I was clean, baby. I was completely. Okay. Here we go. That is a 2, a 3, and a 4.
2, a 3, and a 4. That is success with a consequence. So yeah, that hits Victor St. James and blows off a piece of his face. And sort of that perfect, handsome oil tycoon visage just goes away, and he turns back towards you, and the monster is out now. The jaw is unhinged, the back is up, and the claws are out, and it just sort of lets out this visceral scream, and it pushes past you, and it just goes to those hired guys that you brought from the Echoes and just shred, and there's just blood spurting everywhere. And it turns around, wah! Like Wolverine, and it just starts sprinting back towards the group.
Again, could use that dagger.
Well, I was giving everybody else a chance to do stuff.
That's fair. Well, are you doing anything, other Scott? Dicer?
Yeah, if he's ran by me and gone after the the other crew and then are coming back at us, I have it's an electro blade, but it's called a heat blade. It's actually a military level electro blade, and I am taking a swipe at him as he's coming by.
Okay, sure. This again, if you are up close with this thing, this is desperate for standard effect.
I'm absolutely upfront and personal.
We got corks we can pop.
Yeah. And I'm going to, again, use my military discipline to push myself without taking stress. That's 3 dice. 3, a 3, and a 1.
That is a failure. That is an abject failure. So yeah, you swing that knife and this thing just sort of catches it between these talons and twists it around and then just curls these things up and just does a big slash right across your gut. I'm going to say without any preventatives, this is a level 2 harm, rended.
Okay. I have the armor, so it drops it to a level 1.
Mm-hmm. And would you like to use your charm as well?
No, not yet.
Okay, great. Yeah. So this thing turns and gets in there. Yeah, Jenna.
I was thinking that these charms would be like a bug spray thing. Are they, just to clarify, are they single use?
No.
Or is it just sort of like on us?
It's going to be on you. It's going to sort of just help with some of these things as well. Okay, this thing is still out there. I'm going to say that there are fires starting outside right now. The sort of figure of Nata is beginning violence. And Belladonna, you are filled with a bit of ecstasy. The dagger is starting to fill slowly, but it is filling.
She is going to get up off the floor, toss the knife from her broken arm to the other one, and the whole time she's just mumbling skull curses under her breath. Yeah, I would like to. I'm not going to open the bottle. I'm going to just crush it.
Mm-hmm.
And like the glass and the vapors and all of it, it's actually in her broken hand, like her broken arm, and she's holding the dagger in the other one.
Okay.
And she's like, I have been dealing with pissant men like you my whole life, piece of, and yeah, just he's having his little. American Psycho freak out, and she's just not impressed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to say since you crushed this thing, you cannot be hurt right now. This is going to be a limited time that this is going to be, but you are in a cloud of arcane invincibility for the moment. Belladonna, what do you do?
Neat. Yeah, I want to run at him and I want to try and stab him again.
He's in really bad shape.
This is not something that she's very good at.
Dicer and me are both in melee. I think that we could help.
I'm certainly assisting, yeah.
The finesse of it, good. Like, navigating the dance floor, perfection. The actual, like, attacking of it, she's not.
I'm going to say you are synchronized, you are in step. For the people who are assisting, I'm going to offer a one-time bonus. If you would like to assist 2 stress instead of the normal 1, I'm going to let you both assist right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Jenna, 2 extra die for you.
Okay.
2 stress each, okay.
So what would be the... what's the role that you had in mind? Because I said last time that I thought it was a tune, and I had a different idea of how the knife, like, what it actually was.
With the dagger, it would be finesse.
Okay. I have 1 in finesse, so that would be 3.
That's completely fine. Yeah, there are injuries on Victor St. James now. If you're going for one of those injuries, yeah, we can finesse it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus you're dodging in between Mr. Coffee, Dicer, and him. So
Yeah. This is so her thing. Like, I cannot, like, keys and deadlocks here. We've got always a production. The most dramatic drama queen in everything in Duskfall is going to come down to her. Come on, this is it. And then reality is weirder than fiction is another one of her deadlocks, where she's like so into the occult stuff, and like she knew that all this weird stuff was happening under the scenes. And then one of her other keys is ambitious, where she's like, will do anything to get what she wants. And she's looking at this asshole between her and all of the things that she is and wants to be. And it's like, all right, well, let's go kill one more person.
Yep. This is going to be risky for great effect.
Cool. I'm just going to roll 3 dice and see what happens. And roll. A 3, a 1, and a 6. So one of your assists is the only reason that we are alive right now.
Okay. I'm going to say that Mr. Coffee, Dicer, and Owl are laying down suppressive fire. The stake is being wielded, and Victor St. James is just a fucking mess of blood and viscera and death. All of your allies that you came in here with here are dead. But Belladonna, with broken arm and the offhand, he managed to get this thing up. And where does this knife go into?
I'm not sure where any of his wounds are, but I think by the time that she gets to him, like, he's doing the like thing, and he turns around to plot her, and she just goes, shut up, and it's like through his throat so that he can't talk or scream anymore, like just a good old-fashioned slit, just the way Mommy used to make them.
And so that slit happens, and we're back in the black pace again, and you are looking right at Nata, and Nata is looking at you, and even though she's physically over there, you feel her over there right now, and you feel all of that hunger that existed inside of Nata start to be filled, and it's moving through the dagger into this, and the two of you are kind of the same at this moment. You feel fulfilled at the same time, and at the culmination of all of this energy sort of going in there, there's this radiant boom, kind of like when Sauron got blown up, and everybody sort of gets moved out to the side of the room, including you, Belladonna. You're sort of pushed right next to sort of the shell of this Fabergé egg, and at the same time all of the windows shatter, and everything kind of comes down, and they're moving outside. And Victor St. James sort of looks at you just with sort of these decrepit eyes and sort of just falls limp. And Nata in the distance turns right towards the tower, turns towards the water, and just starts slowly moving its way back there. So the scene where we are right now, Mr. Coffee, Dicer, and Owl are sort of blown off to the side. Belladonna, you are right in front of one of the broken windows with the weapon. You can do whatever you want with this right now. What happens next?
She looks around and she sees all the carnage and everything, and her friends are not where they're supposed to be, and she's on top of this tower, and she goes, oh, damn it. And she just takes off her shoe, which is a very expensive stiletto, pulls the heel off, and there is a number pad underneath. And she punches in a number on her shoe phone and just goes, oh, I got it. We need an extraction. And a martini. Thank you. And just sort of like...
Yeah. And so you called the DIA?
No, I did not.
Who did you call?
I called my friends at the back home in the motherland.
So as you make that call, you hear a helicopter and it is coming in from the docks, and the helicopter is coming in as Nata is coming out, and this sort of helicopter sort of comes down and is hovering outside of there, and it drops its little rope ladder down right there, and there's a way out, Belladonna, if you'd like to take it.
I will. They're probably concerned about Nata, and I just turn to them and say, "Don't worry about her. We made a deal." Martini.
Crew, Belladonna, a Scoveland agent, is leaving with the knife right now.
Scott.
I don't think it had any worth to us anymore.
Oh, I sent Scott a message. He didn't see it.
Oh, is it on Discord?
Yeah.
I got Discord shit. Hold on.
Wow, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I could toss it into the helicopter, but that just may kill everybody.
It would give everyone a fun time. What are you
You
talking
can
about?
drop the Sunshine number 9 from the bottom of the helicopter, but please don't toss it into the helicopter.
No, that gives everyone in the helicopter a real fun time.
Okay, no, but for real though, that would be the equivalent of one of those like MIB, like look into the light, please.
Yeah.
So are we letting Velvet scoot away?
I'd say that's what, as far from what we've been told, now that the dagger has been sighted, it's useless. It's just a dagger.
For now.
Well, I want to have a flashback with Al then before as we're on the rooftop, and I want to tell him, like, if there's an opportunity, we're taking this dagger from her. We're not letting this dagger out of our sight, even if it gets used up.
I mean, yeah, I made the. I've got the grenades with the Sunshine 9 in it. I also have. I mean, I've got stun grenades.
I'm going to say any action that you're taking right now against the helicopter is also going to be taken against Belladonna. Your choice right now, you let Velvet leave with the dagger, and you consider the day one and the crisis averted, or is this ending in violence?
Or I lean out the window of the helicopter. Are you coming or what?
I'll crawl my broken ass over there.
I look at Al.
Not letting it out of our sight. We can have that fight another day.
I mean, the number 9 grenade could still be fun. I'm not against it.
I've got plenty of it. I know how to make it now, so it's not like
we can have a fun ride in that helicopter.
Okay, so are people getting on the helicopter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll climb in, and as we're like, I'll be the last one on the rope, and he will drop a firebomb into the office, or just leave it on Spurlock's chest, and to burn the body, not necessarily to blow anything up, but just to. I'm more interested in burning his remains.
Absolutely. You also know that blue time is going to happen pretty darn soon, and there are no more windows. So, in a surprise twist, Velvet, the Scoveland double agent, who's been with you the entire time, has fulfilled her mission. And in a double twist, the Diamond Jacks have turned coat and are now heading off to the Scoves to deal with this.
Dicer just looks at Belladonna, and you tell he's not happy with this.
Not happy with it, but complicit in this thing. However,
For now,
Mr. Coffee turns to and is fully impressed by the full bar on this helicopter.
You were kidding about those martinis. So
Welcome to Scotland.
as the helicopter sort of flies through, blue shift happens. We have this beautiful sunrise. The helicopter is sort of heading towards the bubble. The top of Skurlock Tower is on fire, and the creature Nada is sinking beneath the waves. And we cut to black, and we cut to credits, and it says, "The Diamond Jacks will return from Scotland with love." And we fall to black. And that is the end of season 1. Thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate you being here for this extra long episode. This has been a real hoot. My name is Brandon. You know my wonderful and beautiful cast. Thank you so much for indulging this silly fantasy that we all went on. Everybody has been great. Much appreciated, everybody.
that was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Coming up on the channel here, Sunday night, we'll be back with Alien. We took this past Sunday night off for Mother's Day. Everybody had stuff going on with their mothers. So we'll be back for that. And then other than that, we don't really have anything on the schedule at the moment. Simroom is shut down, and now we're going to take a break from this. So if anybody's got any suggestions or anything they're interested in jumping in on, please let me know, and we will get that going. But yeah, that's it for us here on the channel for now.
It's been great, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon, thank you very much. This has been a blast, and
It was so good.
We had a good time.
now the question is, do we stay with this or do we go back to the carrion crew? How much of a break do we want to take?
We can decide that off screen.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm not going to try to look for a raid. We're just going to close it down for the evening, and we will see you Sunday night for Alien. Have a great week, everybody. And Scott is traveling tomorrow morning, so have a great vacation, Scott. Be careful out there on the road. There's a lot of crazy people out there, as we've proven just on this show. So yeah, have a great week, and we'll see you Sunday night. Say good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.